Today is April 28th, 2025, and if you're somebody that's been waiting to see if we're going to have Doge dividend refund checks, no taxes for the middle class, no taxes on tip, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security recipients' checks. If you've been waiting to see if any of these are going to come to fruition, and as I mentioned yesterday, no taxes at all for people making less than $200,000 a year. Well, we've got some big news coming out. Take a look at the latest headlines with me coming out today, April 28th, 2025. Republicans sprint to wrap up Trump's tax bill. Now, I'm going to give you all the details of this article. However, let's scroll down and take a look at this very quickly here. As you can see, the Tax Writing House Ways and Means Committee under Chairman Jason Smith will need to start writing its plan in the coming weeks. But Smith said on News Nation, The Hill Sunday, that he expects we are days away, not months away, from delivering this for the American people. There you have it, you guys. We're hearing that we are just simply days away from getting the details of what Trump calls this big, beautiful bill, which many are saying essentially could be like a stimulus bill because Doge dividend refund checks, massive tax cuts, an assortment of different things that he is saying is going to make America rich again. We're hearing it is right around the corner. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some more headlines that have just been recently coming out so that way you can see it for yourself and let me know your thoughts. Are you glad to see this happening? Are you glad to see this big, beautiful bill and all of these provisions that could be helping out millions of Americans? If so, drop a 47 in the comments and hit that like button. Now, if not, and you like the previous administration's policies on the economy, drop a 46 and hit that like button for me. But let's go ahead and take a look at this so you can see. Now, yesterday, I let you know, take a look. Bonanza for America. Trump hypes up tariffs. He says that they could lead to taxes being completely eliminated for workers under $200,000 a year, as we're hearing that he is saying that he wants to do this. He wants the tariffs to fully take over. No need almost entirely for the IRS. We would simply have the ERS, the External Revenue Service, from the tariffs coming in and helping fund America. In addition to that, take a look. This coming out today, Doge Stimulus checks, no tax on overtime. Here's where 3 of Trump's economic ideas currently stand. And just to clarify again, these ideas are going to be ones included in this bill. We're hearing very confident a lot of these items will be. Now, the Doge stimulus checks specifically, we're going to talk about that here in a second. But take a look also. Are you on Social Security? You may get more in your Social Security checks with Trump's proposed tax cuts in this bill. And that is because they're saying they are planning to eliminate the tax that is charged when you withdraw from Social Security, when you get those checks. Now, there's 2 tax bracket limits. One of them taxes you up to 50%, the other one 85%. Trump is saying, why the double tax? Eliminate it. You've already paid income tax, Social Security, into Social Security your entire life. Now, when you pull, you got to pay back into it again. Double taxation. Get rid of it. So we're hearing that this is also one of the line items that's going to be included in this bill that we're hearing could be coming in days. And just to clarify, I'm going to go through the details of this because, yes, the framework passed through the process of reconciliation. Republicans don't need Democrats to get this done. They are bypassing the filibuster. However, line items, specific information on all of the agenda items still are being worked out as we speak, and that's what they're saying is going to be coming here in the coming days. And one of the things a lot of people are hoping is going to be included as a line item is that $5,000 Doge stimulus check. Is that still happening? Well, the Trump fundraiser email just teased about it. This coming out, you can see today, April 28th, they're saying they sent out an email, and in that email, they said, would you like to get a Doge dividend refund check? And let me know your thoughts. Would you like to see that? If so, drop a 47 in the comments. Now, also, we are hearing, as I mentioned, they're going through the process. The House passed the budget bill. It's going on, but we're going to be seeing, are these things actually going to be coming to fruition? And if so, when? And also, I mentioned Republicans are doing this through reconciliation, which means they don't need Democrats. So what are Democrats doing today? Take a look. Democrats staged a 12-hour moral moment today at the U.S. Capitol. They are rejecting this bill. Trump's big, beautiful bill that has all of these agenda items that we're going to be discussing today. Democrats today at the U.S. Capitol denying, rejecting it staging a moral moment in front of the Capitol. Let me know your thoughts. Do you support this big, beautiful bill? Do you support these line items and these things that Trump is saying he wants to do for the American people? If so, drop those 47s. If no, drop a 46 for the previous administration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I'm going to get into these articles today, cover all the details so you can see it for yourself. And as always, all of the articles I'm going to be referencing, they are hyperlinked in the description. All you got to do is click it. You can read these exact articles I'm referencing, see the sources, see the dates, so that way you can know and rest assured that this is the latest information. And if you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like button, and to stay up to date, as in the coming days, we might have some very detailed information about this bill, hit that subscribe button. As soon as it comes out, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel, so that way you know exactly what is going on. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to be covering all the details, letting you know exactly what is taking place, so that way you know whether or not there is going to be Doge dividend checks, whether there is going to be an elimination of tax on Social Security, whether or not people making under $200,000 a year will still have to pay federal taxes. It's potentially here going to be eliminated. We will see. Whether it is or is not, I will report it here on the channel so you know exactly what is going on. But let's go ahead and get started, go through all of the line items. Now, in addition to that, one of the things I wanted to let you guys know is I'm going to put it on the screen here. Lear Capital. You can call them today at 1-800-411-2430 or go to learram.com if you are interested in investing in gold or silver. I highly recommend them. Over 27 years of experience, incredible people. They will help you, and they will give you free guidance and information. If it's been something you've been thinking about doing but you're not sure, you can give them a call at 1-800-411-2430. Free information, no obligation. They've even got free guides if you want to study first before you decide what to do. But gold has been skyrocketing, and we're hearing it might continue to go up with all the things taking place right now in the nation. So go to learram.com or go to 1-800-411-2430. Check them out. And also, they said just mention that you heard about them through the Steve Ram YouTube channel. And if you do that, they said, when I had the CEO on the show, that you could get a $500 credit towards your account for gold or silver. So not bad. So if you've been thinking about doing it, you might want to give them a call, check them out, go to the website, and don't forget to mention that you heard about them through the Steve Ram channel. They'll give you all the information. So wanted to put that out there for you guys, but let's go ahead and get to this article so that way you can see the latest where things currently stand with all of these agenda items. But first, let's talk about what came out today, where things currently stand with the bill. And like I said, subscribe, and if you haven't done so yet, hit that like button if you appreciate the updates. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Republicans sprint to wrap up Trump's tax bill. House tax writers need to resolve some big questions before setting up a vote on the tax cuts. Now, let's go ahead and see here this coming out. House Republicans are sprinting to wrap up President Donald Trump's tax bill by Memorial Day. It'll be an uphill effort. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will reconvene his Big Six meetings on the GOP tax bill this week with House Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and Congress's tax chiefs. Meanwhile, GOP leaders are expected to huddle on Wednesday with a hardcore contingent of Republicans who have threatened to throw a wrench into the legislation without an expansion of the state and local tax deductions. The flurry comes as GOP lawmakers start planning to put pen to paper on trillions of dollars in tax provisions that are the cornerstone of Trump's big, beautiful bill. It is also set to include more than $100 billion of immigration enforcement, new defense spending, and an array of energy provisions for oil and gas production. Trump has called on Congress to make his expiring tax cuts from 2017 largely affecting individuals permanent and to implement a raft of new breaks for domestic manufacturers, tipped wages, and auto loans, to name just a few. In principle, Senate and House Republicans are all on board with enacting the costly agenda. In practice, there's a huge chasm between the tax plan set up by the two chambers and plenty of potential blow-ups as deficit hawks in the House demand any tax cuts be paired with deep and politically perilous spending cuts. Now, the tax writing House Ways and Means Committee under Chair Jason Smith, will need to start writing its plan in the coming weeks. But Smith said on News Nation, The Hill Sunday, that he expects we are days away, not months away, from delivering this for the American people. So stay tuned to the channel. As soon as they unveil this and they give us the information, I'm going to let you know. They're saying we are days away from this, and we're going to see what line items are included. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be covering all of the things that we've been hearing, the rumors of Doge dividend refund checks, of Social Security not getting taxed anymore, of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, all of these different things, and also potentially no tax for people making under $200,000 a year. We're going to see what items are included. Maybe they all are, maybe all of them aren't. Whatever the case is, I'm going to let you know, but stay tuned to the channel. Now, reading on, it says, the committee still has big questions to settle, though. There remains non-committal about the timing of a bill markup, even as House GOP leadership has been pressing Smith to nail down dates in early to mid-May. The committee member Darren LaHood said on Friday that it may not vote until early June. There are plenty of reasons to think that LaHood timeline is more realistic of the two. For one, the House Republican budget calls for $4.5 trillion in tax cuts, contingent on the GOP being able to muster $2 trillion in spending cuts. Now, tax writers will likely need to see how many cuts other panels can muster before they can move forward, particularly the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which has been tasked with funding the lion's share of the savings. For Ways and Means, the biggest outstanding question is, what is the number that they're writing to, said Ramit Kumar, National Tax Office co-leader at PwC and a former senior aide to Senator Mitch McConnell. Smith doesn't have a fixed target, Kumar said. He either has to wait for the other committees to do their work to have a sense of what the number is, or he has to make a guess about what number they're going to get. Now, the cost of the tax plan has been a source of tension for months. Nonpartisan budget scorekeepers have estimated extending the tax cuts due to expire at the end of the year, including the lower individual rates enacted in 2017, would cost around $4 trillion. Trump and most GOP lawmakers want to make the cuts permanent, but Smith said that with all the additional tax provisions Trump has called for, the plan may only allow for 8 to 9 years of tax cut extensions. Republicans also want to permanently restore expired tax incentives for business equipment and research and development activities, which would likely add hundreds of billions more in red ink to the tax plan. Trump calls for tax relief for seniors, and overtime pay could also be expensive, depending on how the committee dials the proposal. And so we're going to be covering that a little bit more as well. As you can see here, Trump calls for tax relief for seniors, and yes, that is for Social Security. Ways and Means has held extensive meetings among committee members to suss out how they feel about potential offsets that could lower the cost of the tax bill. Among the options the committee has privately been considering are limits to deductions businesses can take for executive compensation, curbing the write-off corporations can take for their state and local taxes, and hiking endowment taxes on universities. Some House Republicans, like Representative Chip Roy of Texas, they have been pushing the committee hard to claw back green energy credits, even as more than 20 GOP members are urging their preservation. Smith said on The Hugh Hewitt Show last week that his committee was looking at every possible way to raise revenue to bring down the cost of making Trump's tax cuts permanent. House Ways and Means Republicans, we put in more than 50 hours in the last 6 weeks trying to craft this bill and looking at every provision. How could it be enhanced? Is this the provision that we don't need? Whether it's an IRA credit, Smith said, referring to the Democrats' 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. We're looking at all kinds of things to close that area. We have to make permanent Trump's expiring 2017 tax cuts. Now, in contrast, the Senate Republicans have advanced their own plan that would zero out the cost of permanently extending the expiring tax cuts using an accounting method called current policy baseline. Altogether, their plan would allow for around $800 billion in additional tax cuts, while setting extremely modest floors for the committee's spending cut targets. Thune and Finance Committee Chair Mike Crapo have been on the front lines of advocating for the 2017 cuts permanent and using the current policy baseline, even as a contingent of House Republicans have lambasted the accounting tactics as a gimmick. As usual, with major tax legislation, members of Congress have their own favorite provisions to push. Crapo said in March that he has fielded roughly 200 requests from fellow senators. Wow, let me know your thoughts. Over 200 requests for various line items they'd like to see in there. Let me know in the comments. What would be one of the primary ones that you would like to see included? Would it be those Doge dividend checks? If so, put Doge in there. Would it be something for Social Security? If so, put SS. Would it be the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime? Would it be the no tax for anybody making under $200,000 a year? Let me know in the comments which one you would fight for, but we are hearing that Mr. Crapo is saying that he has seen since March over 200 requests for line items in the bill from the Senate. Now, let's go ahead and read on. It says, but no partial issue has been harder to resolve than the $10,000 cap on the deduction for state and local taxes, commonly referred to as SALT, that Congress imposed back in 2017. House leaders are set to meet on Wednesday with lawmakers who want an increase in the cap. They represent politically competitive districts where property taxes are high and their constituents have been dinged by the limit. There are signs that the Ways and Means Committee has a number in mind for an increase to the deduction, though it's unclear if hardline SALT Republicans like New York Representative Nick LaLotta, Mike Lawler, and Andrew Garbarino will be satisfied with this proposal. The 2025 political landscape is far different from 2017, and our party needs blue state Republican votes to pass Trump's policy package, said LaLotta in an email statement. Our price will be a reasonable increase in the SALT cap. It's a matter of fairness, political pragmatism, and simple vote math. Wow. There you have it, you guys. And again, let me know in the comments, which line item would you like to see in there the most? We are hearing that at this present time, today, April 28, 2025, Republicans are working away trying to get this done and get this included so that way we can see all of the items that they want to have in this big, beautiful bill, we have heard said by Donald Trump. Z, thank you for that $5 super chat. I appreciate the generosity a ton. It says, I may have missed this question as I just logged on. I have not received my April Social Security check. Any news on the delays? Z, wow, thank you for letting me know that. Let me know, is it retirement, SSI, SSDI? There has been a lot going on. I've got a lot of videos on it. You might want to go back and check them out. If you can give me some more information, or shoot me a DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. I'll try to do my best to get a response to you right away. But yeah, there's a lot going on right now with Social Security, so it really depends on your situation. I've been trying to cover all of the different topics of what has been taking place there. But let's go ahead and take a look at this, you guys. Now, we're going to go through some of these items. I know a lot of people are very interested in different things. I'm going to take a look at the comments here and see what are people saying that they want to see in there included. I see somebody saying they want to see the Doge dividend checks. I see somebody else saying Doge as well. So there's a lot of people saying that they would like to see those Doge checks coming in. So let's go ahead, though, and take a look at this one first right here. And this one is about what just came out yesterday, Bonanza for America. Now, we're hearing that Donald Trump is saying that as a result of the tariffs that are taking place, that they could entirely get rid of taxation for Americans making under $200,000 a year. If you like the sound of that, put a 47 in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and hit that like button. So that is a big one that just came out. He just posted that on True Social, and they're saying that that is another thing that he's pushing for, is that hopefully we can eliminate the need for taxation from the middle class or the IRS to be replaced by the ERS. No more Internal Revenue Service, but now the External Revenue Service. As he said, he's trying to make America rich again. Let me know your thoughts. Now, like I said, that one just came out yesterday on that post with True Social. And so as more comes out on that, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. Now, I see a lot of Doge coming out, so let's take a look at some of the Doge very quickly for you guys. And we're hearing that the Trump administration is sending out emails reminding people there could be a Doge dividend check included in this big, beautiful bill as well. Let's go ahead and take a look. Are $5,000 Doge stimulus checks still happening? Trump fundraiser email teased it. This coming out today, April 28th, 2025. Now, this article says the possibility of payouts from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, also known as Doge Stimulus checks, remains uncertain as the process must receive multiple approvals before a potential dividend is sent out to Americans, and they are trying to get it included in the bill that we are discussing right now. Still, the Trump campaign has reportedly teased the idea of Doge checks in funding emails to supporters, according to the Midas Touch network, which kept the messages in its archive of political emails. The publication noted that the email said, while not outright guaranteeing the $5,000 payments, heavily mentioned Doge checks with messages like, do you want a Doge check? And it's your money anyways, I'm just giving it back to you. Here's what you need to know about the supposed Doge checks. The Department of Government Efficiency, officially the U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization, is an initiative created by President Donald Trump and led by special government employee and billionaire Elon Musk. Doge's mission was to reduce federal spending, streamline regulations, modernize federal technologies and software to enhance government efficiency and productivity. Will there be a Doge stimulus check? How much could they be, and when might they arrive? Well, if Elon Musk achieves his goal of $2 trillion in spending cuts by next year, James Fishback, CEO of the investment firm Azoria, estimates that 20% of Doge's savings could translate to a $5,000 per tax-paying household check. However, whether Doge will reach that target remains uncertain, and that is where it currently stands. In fact, I've actually had Mr. Fishback and his office reach out to me, and we did an exclusive interview here on the channel, and they let me know they are very confident that they have the support needed to make this a line item in this big, beautiful bill. Mr. Fishback said he was very confident. He believes it's imminent. Now, we will see, because when this bill is released, as soon as we get the detailed items, it's already been approved, it's already been passed in the form of a framework, but now they're putting in what each and every single item is. And if one of those is Doge dividend refund checks, I will hop on, let you know right away, and I'll tell Mr. Fishback, you were right. You got that support from Congress. Now, if it's not included, I'll let you know right away. The bill was released, and the Doge dividend check was not included as a line item. Mr. Fishback was confident he had the support, but it looks like he didn't get the full support he needed to get it in the bill. Now, regardless of what happens, I'll let you know here on the channel. And if you appreciate that, hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date, so as soon as it comes out, you can be notified right away. Now, let's discuss several of the items that are currently on the board to be included. Doge stimulus checks, no tax on overtime. Here's where 3 of Trump's economic ideas currently stand. We're 100 days into President Donald Trump's second term. What does that mean for some of the financial promises that he has made, both during his campaign and since he took office? Here are 5 promises that Trump has made, or ideas that he has floated, that would put more money into Oklahomans, but not just Oklahomans, all Americans' pockets, and what progress has been made on making them happen. First, no tax on overtime, tips, or Social Security. During his 2024 presidential campaign, Trump proposed eliminating the federal income tax on overtime hours. He also said he wanted to eliminate tax on tips and Social Security checks. And if you like the sound of that, drop those 47s. Now, reading on, it says, while the U.S. House's budget resolution bill has been passed by both sides of Congress now, an actual piece of legislation still needs to be brought to the table outlining how money will be spent and where cuts will take place. And that is the reconciliation process I've been letting you know. It's already passed. It's already approved as a framework, but now we need to get the details in. The budget resolution seeks $4.5 trillion in tax breaks and $2 trillion in spending cuts, Newsweek reported, paving the way for Republicans to implement the tax cuts Trump has touted. Congressional Republicans plan to take the bill through the reconciliation process, which will allow them to bypass the usual 60-vote threshold needed to pass a bill in the Senate, CBS News has reported. Congressional Republicans hope to have the bill on Trump's desk around Memorial Day. Eliminating federal income tax on overtime hours would not affect state income taxes on overtime. So again, to clarify, this is for federal tax, not state tax. Doge Stimulus checks. Now, we just covered this. Mr. Fishback was the first to suggest this. He's an investor, and Elon Musk's social media post X, he wrote Doge Dividend, and he was the one that suggested it. Mr. Musk liked it, took it to Donald Trump, who has taken it to Congress. We're yet to see if this is going to make its way through. Also, bringing inflation down. On the campaign trail, Trump promised to bring prices down on day one, after years of inflation have been felt deeply in the wallets of Americans. Of course, this is not an easy thing to accomplish in a single day. However, inflation has decreased this year. The rate of inflation was 3% in January, 2.8% in February, and 2.4% in March. While inflation is decreasing, not all items are feeling it. The cost of eggs, another fixture on Trump's campaign trail, has gone up due to the bird flu. The average cost of a dozen large eggs, grade A, in the U.S. cities was $6.23 back in March, compared to $5.90 in February and $4.95 back in January. The cost of most food items has increased compared to this time last year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. However, many fruits and vegetables, they have actually decreased in price. So there you have it, you guys. We're seeing some of the things that Trump is saying that he wants to see done. We're going to see if they come to fruition. Now, let's talk about Social Security. We heard that he wants to eliminate the tax on Social Security when you collect those benefits. Now, this article is saying, but in 10 years you might get less. Well, that's because if they don't address the solvency issue, this could be a major problem. Now, it is still a major problem, regardless of whether they eliminate that tax. I think it'll only extend it out, if I remember correctly, according to the CBO, maybe 6 months to maybe 18 months, if I remember correctly. I might be off on that. However, they're saying it is not going to have a significant impact. Regardless, Congress has got to do something about Social Security. We have got a solvency issue, and it is going to come to head here in roughly the next 10 years. Now, this article says, save money now, lose money in the future. That's the gamble of supporting the tax cut on Social Security benefits without a thorough plan, experts say. President Donald Trump has mentioned eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits numerous times, including on the campaign trail. The proposal has been applauded by some, as many retirees would receive higher benefits every single month. Let me know. Do you want to see this? If so, put yes. If no, put no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But without a strategy to replace the lost revenue, such a tax cut could speed up the program's path to insolvency, potentially causing cuts to all beneficiaries' checks. Now, as I mentioned, in my particular opinion, this article seems a little bit skewed because when you take a look at the actual numbers, the taxation on recipients' checks that they receive only contributes, if I remember correctly, according to the CBO, something as little as 3%, maybe even less, of all the funds going into the trust fund. It is not significantly, at this time, extending out the solvency of the trust fund. So in other words, to blame it on this simple piece of legislation that is going to be saying no more taxes on your Social Security checks, well, I think that's a bit of a stretch. What really needs to happen, regardless of whether this goes through or not, is in the next 8 to 12 years, roughly, when the solvency is about to come to an end, they have got to do something. They need to increase taxes. They need to reform the entire system. They've got to do something because regardless, the way it is currently set up, it is going to run out. Now, will this be included in the big, beautiful bill by Donald Trump? We will see, and I will keep you up to date every step of the way. Now, like I said, they are actually going to be doing this without Democrats, Republicans that is, in the House and in the Senate. They are pushing through all of these agenda items. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article here, and we're going to dive into the details of this in just a second. The House passed its budget bill, but when will this actually begin? Now it says the House passed the budget bill proposing federal spending cuts, tax cuts, and increased funding in certain areas. The bill includes a proposal to eliminate federal tax federal income tax on overtime. The bill needs Senate approval and the president's signature to become law. We're going to be seeing what happens here. Back in February, the House passed the budget bill establishing congressional budget for 2025 fiscal year and setting forth budgetary levels for the fiscal years of 2026 through 2034. The bill proposed cutting trillions of dollars in federal spending in order to pay for trillions in tax cuts, while also increasing federal funding within certain areas. The bill passed the House 217 to 215. However, nothing can be done with the bill until the Senate is approving it. Now, we've heard, as I mentioned, this actually has now been approved. We're waiting on those line items. When will no tax on overtime start? Louisiana residents want to know, but also everybody in the nation. The proposal to remove the federal income tax on overtime pay would ease financial burdens on workers by exempting overtime pay from taxation. However, states that have a state income tax still have the possibility of paying state income tax on overtime. In Louisiana, overtime pay, like all wages, is subject to both federal and state income tax. Currently, Louisiana's state income tax rate ranges from 1.85% to 4.25% depending on the income level. Then overtime pay is added to gross income and taxed alongside your regular earnings according to Smart Asset. However, this will change in 2026 when you do your tax year 2025 tax returns, since Louisiana plans to switch to a flat tax rate of 3%. No tax on overtime and other measures within the House budget bill will go into effect once the bill is passed in the Senate and signed into law. Before the bill can be signed into law by President Trump, the Senate will have to agree upon the bill. Once the bill passes both the House and the Senate, it will be sent to the president's desk, where he will have 10 days to sign it. And we're hearing that they could have an agreement on things in the coming days, as I read to you in that very first article. Now, this says, in relation to this, the House must pass all budget bills by June 30th. However, Congress has no official deadline other than October 1st, which is when the fiscal year begins, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center. If the budget bill is signed into law before the deadline, then the bill will go into effect when the new fiscal year begins on October 1st, although there will not be any exemptions on paychecks until after this year, as the budget bill concerned budget levels for 2026 through 2034. So there you have it. Now we're going to be seeing if they're going to do this, and they are doing this, as I mentioned, through reconciliation without the support of Democrats. In fact, take a look at this article you can see coming out today, April 28th, 2025. Today, Democrats staged a 12-hour moral moment at the U.S. Capitol rejecting Trump's big, beautiful bill. Democrats rejecting it, standing in front of the Capitol, protesting Trump's big, beautiful bill. Now, if you're for it, like I said, drop those 47s, hit that like button. If you're against it, if you're with Democrats and you don't want to see this go through, drop a 46 for the previous administration. But let's take a look at this. And actually, you can see right here pictures of them sitting out in front of the Capitol. Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader, leading the charge of people sitting out there protesting against Trump's big, beautiful bill. Now, this article says Senator Cory Booker, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, staged a sit-in on the steps of the U.S. Capitol on Sunday, taking a moral moment to reject President Donald Trump's agenda as Congress returns to Washington to negotiate the big, beautiful bill. Now, on the final day of the 2-week congressional recess, Booker and Jeffries discussed their relationship with faith, invited Americans to share their experience of Trump's first 100 days, and sounded off on what's at stake with Trump's budget. The sit-in's hours-long live stream had massed hundreds of thousands of views on X and on YouTube. Now, instead of church on Sunday, the Democratic leaders, they opted for a sacred civil space outside the Capitol for more than 12 hours. Activists and politicians joined the Democrats throughout the day, including American Federation Teachers President Randy Weingarten and Amy Klobuchar and Senator Raphael Warnock. This is how we will stop cuts to Medicaid. This is how we will stop Trump and congressional Republicans' devastating agenda. This is how we will rise, Booker said on X at the end of the sit-in. And here you can see a picture of them out in front of the Capitol protesting this big, beautiful bill. Democrats have been warning Americans about Trump's ambitious budget bill since he was elected in November, claiming his budget cuts will threaten funding for entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. The Trump administration has maintained that no cuts will be made to those services, despite the anticipated $1.5 trillion in spending reductions and extensions from Trump's 2017 tax cuts. Now, as Congress returns to session this week, committees begin markups on the budget framework passed by both the House and the Senate before recess, with plans to finalize legislation by Memorial Day, and that is where we are currently at. We have seen the framework passed by both the House and the Senate. We are now waiting to see what the line items are going to be, and as I shared with you in that previous article, we're hearing that could be coming here in the coming days. Trump added pressure to the negotiations on Sunday, posting on Truth Social that it is a crucial week for the budget bill, which will contain massive tax cuts, strong border security measures, major military advancements, dramatic deregulation, powerful spending reforms, and more. It must be done. We will unleash economic prosperity and accelerate into the golden age of America, Trump said of his big, beautiful bill. However, Democrats, they have a drastically different depiction of Trump's vision for the country, and the 12-hour live stream on the Capitol steps covered their laundry list of concerns. Everything from the Department of Education's cuts, Planned Parenthood funding, and protecting Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program benefits, aka SNAP. Now, this is a moment of moral urgency. We are in the moment where Congress is going to come back tomorrow from a 2-week recess, and the Republican leaders on your side of the Capitol are saying that they're going to force a bill through. They want to get it done during this work period and back over to the Senate to be voted on and put it on the president's desk. Bookers said to Jeffries, "This bill, we believe, presents one of the greatest moral threats to our country that we've seen in terms of what it will do to providing food for the hungry, care for the elderly, services for the disabled, health care for the sick," he added. Booker said that the goal of the protest was to center the stories of people who will be affected by this bill that will cut Medicaid so savagely and so many other things to give tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans. Booker, who celebrated his 56th birthday on Sunday, has been mocked by critics for similar stunts rejecting Trump's second-term agenda. The New Jersey senator broke the record for the longest-ever speech on the Senate floor just last month, speaking out against Trump's executive orders, tax cuts, and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency for 25 hours straight. Man, he set a record. Let me know your thoughts on that. Cory Booker not stopping, talking for 25 hours against Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and their agenda items. Wow, setting a new record in Congress. He also joined his Democratic colleagues ahead of Trump's joint address to Congress earlier this year in a social media campaign with identical scripts describing S that ain't true about the Trump administration. Now, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who has drawn tens of thousands of supporters to his Fighting Oligarchy tour rallies across the United States, told NBC on Sunday that what Democrats lack right now is a vision for the future, as the party struggles to find a consistent message and clear party leader in the aftermath of the big November losses. Booker's office did not respond to Fox News Digital's request for comments by the deadline. So, wow. There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Democrats staging a protest against Trump's big, beautiful bill. But we are hearing that the Republicans that are doing this without them through the process of reconciliation, well, they're saying that they are days away from wrapping this up. Cory Booker coming out, not Cory Booker, Jason Smith coming out and saying, this is going to be coming here very soon. You're going to get all the details, the line items of Trump's agenda. There is claims for no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax for potentially Americans making under $200,000 a year if tariffs have anything to do with it, and also potentially Doge dividend refund checks, stimulus checks to millions of Americans across the nation. So we will see, and I will keep you guys up to date every step of the way. Now let me know your thoughts. Do you think Doge dividend checks are going to make it in? If so, put yes. If no, put no. Let me know your thoughts. like I said, as soon as we get this information, I'm going to hop on here on the channel and I'll let you know what the detailed line items are. We'll go through them, cover them, let you know what made it into that big, beautiful bill. And if you appreciate that, do me a favor one last time. If you haven't done so yet, take a second and hit that like button. Help spread this out further across the YouTube platform. Just takes a second. I really appreciate it. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. If this is your first time here and you want to keep up on everything that's going on, I know there's a lot. Hit that subscribe button. I try to do almost daily updates as to what is going on around the world so you know what's taking place, what's most important for you and your family. And as I mentioned, all of the articles that I'm reading and referencing, I try to put it on the screen, read directly from it so you can see it for yourself. And they are all hyperlinked down in the description below as well, so you can click them, see the dates, see the sources. You can know and rest assured that everything is cited and that this is the latest information. And again, if you appreciate that, consider subscribing, hit that like button, and that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.